Good evening, everyone. My name is Shakira Tolo-Boylan. I am the CEC president for Community Education Council 31, and I would like to welcome you to our October 3rd calendar meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and waiting for me to figure things out. So I appreciate it and hope that you can keep that patience rolling as we go through our calendar meeting. Venus, if you could kick us off with a roll call.
Lucia Tolo-Boylan.
Present.
Sarah Blass.
Present.
Daniela Caputo.
Present.
Jimmy Desiderato.
Present.
Frank Marino.
Present.
Chantel Cabrera.
Present.
Teresa Sorelli.
Present.
Roxanne Mustafa.
Present.
And Venus Zhang. I'm present.
Thank you so much, Venus. Teresa, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to remind everybody that there's going to be a list in our chat for speaker registration. If you'd like to take 3 minutes of your time to speak with us about any issues that you're facing or anything that you hear over the course of the meeting and you'd like to speak publicly, please just sign up on that list that Teresa will be placing in the chat. In addition to that, later in the meeting, we'll be posting a feedback form. And Teresa, if you wouldn't mind just putting on the screen our meeting codes of conduct before we go into our approval of September meeting minutes. And so again, there'll be a speaker registration that you can click on in the chat, and we'll also be having a feedback form as well. Again, the codes of meeting conduct that we're sharing are basically here just to make sure that we are creating a safe space for our members, community, and our guests. And we value every opportunity to speak with you and connect with you. We want you to also know that throughout the meeting, the chat will be enabled and disabled in order to create an environment for active listening, where we can hear information, issues, and concerns. And we ask that you are mindful in this space by holding your interruptions and keeping crosstalk to a minimum. Okay, as we go on in our meeting and we look at our September meeting minutes, I would like to have a motion to postpone the approval of our September meeting minutes, as we are still currently operating without an administrative assistant. And I, due to family obligations, was not able to meet with our new recording secretary to allow her a chance to learn how to create those meeting minutes for us to approve. So if everyone would be so kind.
I make a motion.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a second for that motion?
I second. I second the motion.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so we'll postpone our approval for our September meeting minutes until our November meeting. And of course, then we'll approve both September and October at the same time. So thank you so much. Now I would love to introduce Tori Fenton. She's our Director of Brooklyn North and Staten Island Planning for the New York City Department of Education, and she'll be sharing her presentation with us this evening. Tori, if you're there, I'd love to have you unmute.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay, I'm unmuted again. Can you hear me? All right, terrific. Thank you everyone for having us. We're really excited to be with you tonight. I am Tori Fenton. I am from the Office of District Planning at the Department of Education. I have two of my colleagues also joining us tonight, so I want to introduce them quickly. I have Jess Meller, who is a Senior Director of Planning at the Office of District Planning, as well as Brian Smith, who is a data analyst at the Office of District Planning. And tonight we are planning to share some highlights from the District Data Summary, which is an annual summary that we provide and share with superintendents and with councils each year. So we pulled out some of the data trends that we are seeing for Staten Island and sharing a brief overview of the work that our office does and how we partner with councils and with communities. Just want to do a quick time check before we get started. How much time do we have for our presentation? I'm sorry, I think you were muted.
The classic mute on mute. I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, how long does your presentation typically run?
I think if we had, 30, 45 minutes, that would be plenty of time.
Oh, that would be a lot.
That's a lot. Okay, we can do it more quickly.
Can we count it at 20, 25? Will that work?
Okay, of course.
All right, wonderful.
So we may just kind of skip around just a bit to be mindful of time, but thank you for that. I'll confirm in advance next time.
No, that's totally fine. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. We're all learning together. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do want to give a quick plug. Our office has in the past worked closely with CEC31, and I look forward to working with you all closely as we get into the school year. So we can do a follow-up or a smaller meeting. I would love to get to know each of you a little better. But for the purposes of tonight, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if you give me just one moment. Okay, so you should be able to see a presentation and only the. Okay, terrific. So I'm going to get us started. I've introduced our team and we'll share our contact information at the end as well. So you can feel free to reach out with any questions. But I welcome you to either use the chat if it's enabled for this section or feel free to ask any questions as we go. So we'll get started, as I mentioned, with a quick overview of our office, and then we will turn to some data. So the Office of District Planning, we work really closely with superintendents, with principals, with CECs, and also directly with the community to think about how to meet the goals of our public schools. So we have an annual process where we partner with communities to identify needs and educational priorities for a district or for a borough. And we are looking to increase access to quality schools and programming. And we do that through a variety of levers that I'll share with you all as a refresh, or if they are new to you, we'll give you some quick definitions of our levers. And in particular, kind of in this citywide context, we are thinking about how to increase, or in the case of Staten Island, how to retain students in our district schools. So that's a thread that you'll hear kind of throughout our presentation, though recognizing that Staten Island is unique in that you all, the kids are there, they're coming to school. So some different challenges, I think, and different opportunities. So just as I mentioned, I won't spend too much time on our levers because I think the data is what may be most compelling to you all. But our office has a few different ways that we can support school communities. And we do that in partnership with all the stakeholders I mentioned and in alignment with district needs and ideally so we can think about how to align priorities to opportunities through rezoning and unzoning, through either merging schools or perhaps closing schools or opening new schools. We also facilitate the process by which a school can expand the grades that they serve, or where they truncate or they reduce the grades that they serve in their school building. School residings, including district schools, as well as charters or District 75 programs. Charter school siting is here as well. And we partner with other offices to think about new programs. And here we're thinking about early childhood programming, ASD programming to support the needs of a community. And then we work really closely with the Office of Student Enrollment to plan for enrollment and admissions. And then the way we get to those levers is through this annual process. So our office does an internal assessment where we think about data, we identify needs and trends in a district. We then embark on a process to do these district data consultations where we share the data that I shared with you all by email. It's about 35 pages, I think. It is a lengthy packet that I think may be familiar to many of you. We share those with the superintendent, and we also share them with the CEC. And then if there are any kind of opportunities or any scenarios that we are pursuing, we have a formalized process for engaging the community, in particular if they require a mandated process. And there are 2 mandated processes that our office coordinates, those being A190 and A185. And I will just mention briefly what those 2 processes are. So these are mandated legal processes. A190 is the chancellor's regulation that governs significant changes in school utilization. So many of the levers that I mentioned at the top are subject to A190. And here, we go through a process of thorough community engagement, and it involves posting an educational impact statement and ultimately goes for a vote from the PEP. So some of you may be familiar, we have one slide coming up that recaps some recent changes on Staten Island, some of which were subject to A190. And then briefly on A185, similarly, it's a chancellor's regulation, but A185 governs the process for zoning or unzoning, for rezoning or unzoning. And the difference here being that for an A185, you all are the governing body that votes on a rezoning or an unzoning proposal. Before I get into the data, any questions kind of at the top about our office or about the work that we do in partnership with you all? Okay, terrific. And I'm going to keep us moving. So the district data summaries, as I mentioned, they're a key part of our process. They cover enrollment trends across districts and district schools and charter schools. We have some new data that we included in this packet for the first time for this planning cycle, some of which we've included in this highlight presentation. We also include data on specific building utilization, any new capacity that is planned to open on the island, as well as demographic and student population information. And I want to thank those of you who completed our survey in advance on the council. That is also a new tool that we tried out for the first time with this cycle. So thank you to those of you who were able to complete the survey. So as I mentioned, this slide has a quick outline of some of the changes that District 31 has seen implemented in recent school years. So in particular here, we want to highlight, and this is sort of technical language, so I just want to highlight that we have the new building that opened at 45 Waverly Place with 3 schools that opened with the Young Women's Leadership School of Staten Island. I lost my acronym there in my brain, as well as with a new elementary school and a District 75 program. And then we have the Hungerford site that has opened on the Petrides campus as well. And one I want to call out here at the very bottom, you'll see the temporary co-location of 84 RO76. That's Bridge Prep Charter School. And a couple years ago, we temporarily co-located Bridge Prep on the Petrides campus. That was a 2-year co-location that will be ending at the end of this year. So that A190 process that we went through a couple years ago is coming to an end. And that is one scenario that we will be working closely with Dr. Wilson and team in planning for the permanent siting of Bridge Prep because the temporary co-location will be ending at the end of this year. So if we take a step back to look at Staten Island as a whole and the enrollment trends that we are seeing, you know, as I mentioned or sort of alluded to, you know, citywide enrollment is on a decline. I'm sure as many of you are aware, as you've heard, and that is not just from the pandemic. It's not just from the past 2 years. It actually has been declining since its peak in the 2016-2017 school year. But that is not the case on Staten Island. So you all are actually seeing, you know, very steady and robust enrollment. This table is highlighting kind of total enrollment. That includes district and charter schools, which of course make up a very small portion of enrollment. But you'll see that over 2 years, total enrollment, so that includes 3K programs up to 12th grade, has fluctuated very little. It has declined by about 2% over the past 2 years and only by 1% over the past 5 years. So steady at around 61,000 students total. We also at the bottom have kind of itemized that change in those trends by entry grades. So just so you all are aware of the data that we've included here, for example, in this bottom table for K or kindergarten, you'll see how many kindergartners enrolled in district or charter schools on Staten Island over the past 5 years. At just the kindergarten level, that has seen a little bit more of a decline than the total enrollment, but still staying above 4,000 students entering kindergarten every year. And that has been very stable at 6th grade and has fluctuated a little bit at 9th grade for high school students. But we think that kind of from a district planning lens, you know, a little bit of decline isn't necessarily the worst thing for the island, given kind of historical challenges with overcrowding in some of the buildings. And that may just be giving a little bit of wiggle room, or maybe a little less overcrowded than they were a year ago. I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Brian, to walk you through the discharge data. So Brian, if you're able, I'll pass it over to you.
Hi guys, can everyone hear me all right?
Yep, you're good to go, Brian.
Thank you. So as Tori was saying, we are seeing enrollment loss across the city, maybe not so much in Staten Island, but this is a new section for this year, tracking discharge data. These tracks where students go that are leaving DOE schools. Since 2018-19 school year to now, total discharges has increased by about 49%. Notably, since the 2021-22 school year, that number has gone up. But if you notice, the majority of discharges seen in this most current year have to do with students leaving the city entirely. That gray line represents students leaving to non-public schools, and it's remained consistent as well as most of the others. But this last year, we've seen a large number of students leaving the city entirely, and that basically makes up the bulk of this year's increase in discharges, about an extra 1,000 students. And this trend can be seen mirrored across the city, almost similarly so. A lot of students are leaving the city entirely if they're being discharged outside of the DOE. Can I see the next slide? This is also a new section for this year's district data summary. We're tracking high demand schools at both the ES and the MS level. At the ES level, we use zone retention, which is basically the percentage of students within a given zone who enroll in their zone school. Basically, what percentage of students that zone is capturing. The top 3 ES schools by zone enrollment are PS50, PS53, and PS42. Each of these schools has zone retention of over 88%, which is objectively pretty high. Below this is a similar, this is similar, but for middle schools, but we're using a slightly different metric. Instead of using zone retention, we're using number of applicants that rank it in the top 3 choice. As you can see, the top 3 most in-demand middle schools are increasing applicants year over year since 2020-21. Next slide, please. Okay, here we have a demand and capacity curves at both the ES and the MS level. This is also taken from the district data summary. Let me unpack this for a little bit. So here we have these values that are along this light blue line. These values all represent historic enrollment from around 2016. When the values end, we have projected enrollment. This basically encompasses demand. Enrollment is demand. The red line is capacity. At the ES level, you can see that capacity is below demand, and we have a deficit of around 2,200 elementary school seats. But in 2025, if you can see that little blip, we're about to add a projected 800 seats or so in 2 buildings. I believe it's K005 and R005 and R121. About 270 seats at 005 and around 547 seats at 121. And that'll be that little blip. It's still, the capacity is still going to be below projected enrollment, but at least they'll be pretty close. On the other curve, you have the middle school level with a slightly different tail. This is a surplus of capacity, and it looks like the surplus will continue through 2026 with around 2,000 excess seats. We work pretty closely with SCA to identify opportunities for us to alleviate some of this capacity. Potential overcrowding or utilization woes. I'm going to pass it back to Tori, who's going to talk about future capacity that I just spoke about a little bit.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I was just going to say, I pulled up for you all. These are the 2 new capacities that Brian mentioned. They are the little uptick you see in the elementary school capacity on the graph before. So these are planned to open in September of 2025. A little early for us to think about any additional kind of planning connected to these 2 buildings, but we'll be working closely with you all as we get closer to 2025. And then one final data point, and then we'll open up just for maybe a minute or 2 of any questions, but just around District 75 planning on Staten Island. I think you all are kind of the experts and have more on the ground experience than I do, but the way our office partners with the District 75 team as well is thinking about how we can best serve students on Staten Island, given the unique nature of programming needs, but also travel distance and where we have space, which is such a commodity. So at this time, we're not seeing an explicit deficit or a seat need for District 75 seats, but we continue to kind of look for the opportunity to reduce those travel times for students and to help ensure they have the settings available for them. So that is the end of the data that we wanted to highlight for this group. As I mentioned, I think now you see my face. As I mentioned, the district data summary has much more information. So if you're looking for those breakouts on demographics, if you're looking for specific building utilization, I'd be happy to reshare the district data summary or certainly point you there. But if anyone has any questions, and I look to you, Lucia, on our time check.
Thank you so much. That was perfect, Tori. I really, really appreciate you condensing down that for our families and for our members. We deeply appreciate it. It's a lot of information to unpack. And so I feel like the actual presentation is quite thorough in showing our actual capacity and what the need is and how the district is looking to plan for our future seating. I'd like to open the floor right now to any of our council members who have questions on the presentation. Council members, if you have any questions, please just unmute.
Yes, hi, this is Sarah Bloss. I have a question. So as I'm sure you're aware, Staten Island actually has the highest number of children with the IEP category of emotional disturbance. Is there something in the works for providing within District 75 an environment for students that need residential placement and or higher level of care that you can't find in those types of D75 settings that we currently have?
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for that question. I don't have an answer on my end. I think that sits a little kind of in partnership with some of the offices that we work with. I don't know if Dr. Wilson is on. I'd turn to you, or if my colleague Jess has any other thoughts there.
Thanks, Tori. Hi, everyone. Sarah, thank you for that great question. Like Tori mentioned, I think the best course of action here would be for us to chat further with some of our colleagues in the District 75 office and work to get back with you. And Dr. Wilson, if you have anything else to add, please.
Good evening. No, not at this time. We continue to work with our District 75 partners. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jess. We'll be sure to contact you and discuss that topic a little bit further when we have a chance. Any other council members with questions? If there's no other questions from council members, I just had one quick question. As you guys look at district planning with the governor's new decree that we're going to be reducing class size in 6 years, how, Tori, is the SEA and your director of planning for us, how are you guys thinking about looking at our classroom need, especially with our overcrowded classrooms in specific buildings across Staten Island right now?
That's a maybe more than $1 million question, I think. That definitely falls into our shop. So we've been thinking about it as the bill was sort of kind of progressing on its passage of being a bill. I think that we are going to be looking at the classroom level at schools across the city. I think because it's a phased in legislation, I think we'll be in close touch as we know more. Where there are places in the city where there's some easier wins, low-hanging fruit, I think that will be our priority to get started. And then, as Brian mentioned, we'll stay really close with the SCA on if there are opportunities to find new capacities or to think about space differently. But no updates just yet.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure it's something that we're in constant contact about as we're looking at your chart showing that already we are under capacity for what we need for our elementary school students, thinking about, relooking at those schools and narrowing down that class size for buildings that are already over capacity seems challenging at the minimum. Just a little difficult, but well, so long as we're keeping that dialogue open, that's important to us as a council. So thank you so much. Okay, I'd like to open up the floor to any other of our attendees that are here that have any questions to our presenters. If you would like to ask a question, please just unmute your hand. Please raise your hand, excuse me, I'm not speaking correctly, and we'll be sure to call on you and ask you to unmute.
Hi, is this public commenting session?
So this is a public comment just on the presentation that was given. Any questions that you have for them specifically?
All right.
Okay. Anyone with a hand raised? Okay, so I think if there are no further questions, then I'd like to take a time to thank Tori and her team. Thank you to Brian and thank you for Jess for coming to present to us. We really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us tonight. And again, thank you so much for, oh wait, we do have a question. Laura Timoney would like to raise her hand. Laura Timoney, if you would like to unmute, please go right ahead.
And I don't know, hello all, I don't know if it's more you or School Construction Authority. I mean, we've got some lovely, the DOE purchased some lovely space at the old St. John's Villa campus. Is there any word on what might be going there or how long out that's going to take? Is it going to be open in a year, 2 years, 3 years? Any ideas?
Definitely not a year. So I think we don't have any update. That is something that we are in contact with the SCA about St. John Villa. No update, no plans as of yet. So still looking at several years down the road, depending on what we're able to open there.
And maybe what about the old Hungerford site that was on Tompkins Avenue that they have now moved into the lovely Petrides new building?
That's one where, and I'm not sure if it has started just yet, but I do know that they are planning to start demolishing the old building. So that's one where my office is going to be working closely with Dr. Wilson, kind of very in short order, to think about what could possibly be constructed at that site. So more to come.
My last question, maybe I'm just the insider, right? The trailers on Shafter, are they staying there or do we have any plans for that area?
The trailers at 110, we are trying to understand if we have some opportunities there. They will be removed, but we don't have the planning finalized just yet.
Thank you so much, Tori. Thank you again to Brian and Jess. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Laura, for those important questions. And if we'd like, we can move back into our president's report, which I am happy to give. Okay, so as part of my president's report, I just wanted to highlight some things that are going on in our district for our families to be aware of. As excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. Forgive me. The chancellor is holding a town hall with our D75 families. Teresa, if you could share that flyer with everybody. And we're going to post in the chat a registration link up for that particular town hall. It's coming up Monday, October 17th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And you can register to attend that town hall event. Again, our D75 children and the D31 children, they are all the same to us here on the island, so we encourage families to attend and ask the questions of the chancellor. In addition to that, we have an influx of asylum seekers in our NYC school districts right now. And so I'd like to post a link to helpful resources for our asylum seekers. Teresa will also post in the chat the Google document that families can click on and learn more information about where our asylum seeking families can find important resources, such as enrollment forms, ways to maximize their multi-language learners and English language learner opportunities. There's also immigration status and specific services that are available, advocates for them, and migrant hubs as well. There's also a number of New York City member organizations that are also catering to our migrant families. So again, this information will be placed in our chat and again on our website, which you are welcome to visit at www.1.org. Oh. And also in my president's report, we have a UFT parent workshop that's going to be coming up. The UFT would like you to save the date. And that's going to be on November 5th. This is an important workshop that parents can attend and will strategically help you plan for handling your IEPs as well as handling your children's behavioral issues. This conference really is an outstanding event that maximizes the community's opportunity to learn more and engage with their families and their schools in meaningful ways. Please, if you have the time, attend from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We also hold a lovely lunch and they even provide childcare. If you have any questions, you can email Marie Rodriguez at uft.org. We'll place that in the chat. She is our liaison and we adore her. And so hopefully if you have some time, I'd love for you guys to attend that event. In addition to that, Assemblyman Cusick and Senator Lanza are hosting a shred the event. They hold one annually. This is an opportunity for you to dispose of your confidential documentation. They're planning that for this coming Saturday from 11:30 to 2 p.m. And you can bring up to 4 bags to shred if you need to. In addition to that, there has also been guidance released this week regarding middle school applications. Those are going to begin on October 26th, and the chancellor is dedicating himself to greater transparency regarding the application process and helping us have access to that process as well. Results for those will come out sometime in April. Our council and the district are working in partnership to discuss our families' needs regarding middle school admissions and our needs for screened schools. So as we go forward, I'm sure the district will have things to share about that as it becomes available. And that will conclude my president's report. And so I'd love to, at this time, kick it over to our wonderful and amazing superintendent, Dr. Marion Wilson.
Good evening, Madam President. Good evening, esteemed council members. Thank you so much for such an informative meeting. I'm a little under the weather. My kids had sniffles, so I have sniffles. So if I'm not as jubilant as normal, please forgive me. But thank you so much for having me here. Greetings on this rainy Monday evening. I'll try to keep my comments very brief because I know the public section is ready to share. So I'm excited to share that there's a couple of good things happening in our district. There was a Staten Island Advance article that ranked the different school districts using different metrics by niche and other qualitative and quantitative data sets. And I'm proud to say that Staten Island has ranked number 6 of the districts in New York City and in the top 10% of all districts in New York State. Woohoo! If I have any principals on the line, any teachers, any staff, any custodians, any facilities, CEC members, everybody that has anything to do with District 31, I'm going to shout you out now because this is definitely a team effort. I think the focus on collective efficacy has not only just landed with our school leaders, but also with our teachers and our students across the island. And I am so, so proud. Thank you so much, Ms. Blair. I am so, so proud of the work that's happening. It doesn't stop. We're not perfect. We're still continue to push forward, but I just wanted to start off on such a positive note when it came in. Also, I'm not sure if she's on the call, but we have a few people I would like to introduce to you. So our new Executive Director for Student Services and Operations, I introduced her last month, but I think she's on this month. Is Ms. Christine Lachlan here?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome back. So happy to have you.
So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dr. Wilson. My name is Christine Lachlan. I am the new Executive Director for Student Services and Operations. I am a 28-year veteran to the Department of Education, and I am no stranger to Staten Island. I grew up on Staten Island, and I taught there and was an assistant principal for 12 years. I worked at Intermediate School 61 as a social studies teacher and 10 years at the Michael J. Petridis School as a social studies teacher and an assistant principal. And then from there, I was a principal in District 1 and an assistant principal for 7 years. And then I came back to Staten Island as the field support liaison and then the deputy superintendent. And my last, before Staten Island, I served as the community superintendent in District 3. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. I understand the importance of the Community Education Council, and Dr. Wilson told me about your collaborative structures and the work that you do, so I'm really excited. In terms of my work, I support student services, operations, and oversee special education, multilingual learners, and teaching and learning. So I'm really excited to be here and to really dovetail into the vision and mission. I can't tell you that being back just for a couple of months, I started in August, we really hit the ground running and we're doing amazing work upstairs, and we're really working towards aligning our professional development plan to the District 31 strategic plan. So I'm here. I look forward to joining these meetings, and I will put my information in the chat, my email address if anyone has questions or wants to reach out. So thank you so much, Dr. Wilson. and the council members. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's like you never left. We just fell right back in together, and we're so happy with the work you're doing. We're already seeing impact in just things that are, matters that need to be addressed. You're addressing it. You're really helping us to galvanize the team, and we're just so grateful for that. So thank you so much. Another announcement I want to make, we have a new director of special ed. I'm not sure if she's on, but Miss Darlene Degremont, are you on? I don't think we told her, so maybe she's not on. All right, so I'll continue. Maybe we can text her, but I'll continue through our announcements. So all of our AZs, our administrators for special ed, I have to be careful with acronyms because we were on a meeting and parents were like, could you stop with the alphabet soup? We don't know what those things mean. So AZs are administrators for special ed, and they help to support schools when issues come up or impartial hearings or just anything that involves special ed compliance-wise from the state or the city to ensure that our students get the services. They're looking at program mandates and referrals, looking at data, supporting schools, supporting families, supporting principals. Darlene's just an amazing asset to our team. So we're just so happy now. She's our director of special ed. That was one announcement. Then let's see, I'm going to keep it brief because I know everybody wants to go. Look forward to our new living room chat, Making Math Fun, coming up on October 19th at 6 p.m. Now, these are our short little sessions that we have with our families to engage them. I'm in my living room, you're in your living room, and you're going to walk away learning something fun. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I have guest speakers, but Jessica Rivera, our family leadership coordinator, will be working on the details with Lou Brucci. Turning it over to the amazing Deputy Soup Christine. Anything else you want to add, or to Jessica, anything I forgot? Don't forget to download our app. Because if you want to find Christine, she's a problem solver. You can just click on the app next to her picture, and she's that person that will respond, or any of us, anyone on the team, definitely. I'm so. Go ahead, Christine.
I just want to say good evening to everyone. So nice to be here. Congratulations to Lucia and the new CEC board members. We've been engaging in a lot of team building activities, and like Christine Loughlin mentioned, jumping into the work together. Just know that we're here to work in service of all of you, and we're excited for this year.
Definitely. Thank you. So if you ever get confused, we're calling ourselves the Christines and I, or the Christines and me, or Christine L and Christine C. And then I think someone on Friday gave them the name Christine Squared. So I don't know. So when you say Christine now, we just have to clarify. Thank you, Principal Alaya Kuhn. Almost forgot something super important. We have the honor of having our Assistant Commissioner of Education, Dr. Aniel Alston, come back to do another masterclass series for our students. So we're not just opening it up for seniors, but also juniors as well, to help them craft that really, oh, here we go again. Perfect and craft that really great essay to help them get in college, because then sometimes those scores are not really truly representative of what a student is able to do. So that's coming up on October 13th and October 20th at Pritchard.
Christine.
Okay, I think
I love you too.
She was gone the whole time.
Christine.
Okay, mommy's on a meeting right now.
I
Sweetie.
got your house tomorrow.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so the masterclass series will be at Patrides, and what I love most about it is that we're inviting parents as well. Come with your children to learn more about writing the essay. I was recently with some of our borough student advisors, and they were just so excited. They were so excited. They were so excited about the experience they had last year. So I'm looking forward to that October 13th and 20th at Patrides. And I think that is it. Thank you, Roxanne. She's trying to distract her and it's not helping. Okay, go talk to Miss Christine in the living room. Thank you. All right. So yes, I think that concludes my announcements for this evening. Jessica, did I forget anything? And don't forget to sign up for your New York Schools account, because there's a new Gamma app that's going to send information out to families. So make sure you sign up for that. So you have our app and you have the New York City app. We want to make sure we get parents real-time information, so you're never left in the dark. Whether there's a emergency evacuation or something happening, sometimes those other systems take too long to get the information to you. So we want something at your fingertips. So any information you need, feel free to reach out to Jessica or Stacy, but don't forget your parent coordinators or your first line of defense, and then your principal. But then if you need us, we're a phone call away. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wilson. Thank you for that wonderful report, and kudos to your delicious little baby. We all have them. They're all wandering around, even in my house as we speak right now.
Oh, and I thought my plan was set. I really thought I had it down pat, and then
I'd like right now to turn it over to our council for any committee reports. Clearly, based on our last meeting, our business meeting prior, a resolution committee will be meeting to discuss resolutions on the table, such as the relinquishing of the vaccine mandate for entering into school buildings. Any other committee reports?
I don't have so much of a committee report, just more of a comment. I just wanted to, I know there's still some issues with OPT and busing. And I just wanted to give Dr. Wilson a shout out because we've had numerous conversations and phone calls, and so I want to appreciate that. Their buses still are late. There's not too much overcrowding, which from what I hear, which is a good thing. So things look like they're getting better, but we definitely still have some late buses going on and still some kinks to work out. But I just wanted to just let it, give that little out there.
and I want to thank you.
We're going to give
for
OPT
my
at least another
attention.
2 weeks to
Thank
shake
you
it all
for-
out, right, Dr. Wilson?
No, and I appreciate him saying that because he brought it to my attention. And, even though we're told that complaints went down, but at the end of the day, we still don't want kids in overcrowded buses. So I really appreciate you. And this is what the public needs to know. Come to us, give us the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we're here for. When we say we're public servants, we're public servants. So I appreciate him coming to us because it's about the safety of our kids, and not just his kids, everybody's children. So I really appreciate you, and continue sending those things our way. And we're going to keep escalating it up until they resolve it to your satisfaction. Thank you.
Thanks so much to Ginny and Dr. Wilson. And thanks to OPT for ironing out the kinks. Hopefully they get better and better. Any other committee reports? And if not, we're going to go to our link for public speaking. So if everyone could just give me a moment while I pull open that document. Give me just a second.
While you're doing that, Lucia, who should they email or reach out to if they have OPT issues?
They should always reach out to our email address at cec31.schools.nyc.gov, and we'll be able to help and escalate any issues to the appropriate place where we need to. Open that doc. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, and we have one person signed up to speak. And that's going to be, where is it? Forgive me, Musama. I hope I said that right. Musama, if you're still with us, then I'd love for you to unmute, and you'll have 3 minutes to offer your public comment.
Hello, this is Musma. I'm with the American Debate League. My director, Mr. Richard Connolly, is here to speak on my behalf.
Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry. I've been trying to play with my phone. I heard you. This is Richard Connolly trying to unmute myself on my phone, so I apologize. But I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come to your CEC. I think this is the first time I've ever been on. I've even wanted to come when we were in person before, so I'm glad to come to Staten Island. I just want to say that we've worked with 1 or 2 of your schools, CSI, and that's not just a TV show, that's one of your schools, which is great. So we've worked with them last year. This year they're back, and we plan to take them either to Princeton or Harvard this year, either this year or next year. So we're excited. I also want to say that we came to the UFT Staten Island back to school that I think was at the office, but I know it was in late August. And we even would love to come to the UFT November 5th, as well as I've actually had the pleasure of meeting with Dr. Wilson and the deputy superintendent I hope to reach back out to them because we really would love to work with more Staten Island schools. We have mostly in the other 4 boroughs, but we really want to push to really work with Staten Island schools to even have some events on the island, as I call it, because I think that's important to have some there, not always you traveling. And I just want to say debate changes lives. We work with schools throughout New York City. We have a city championships, and we really would like to work with the CEC as well as the district office to work with more schools and complete our vision, which is to help children become better thinkers, speakers, and leaders. So I thank you, and I'll put my information in the chat. I hope everyone has heard my my talk, because I don't know what my phone's looking like.
You are solidly ready to go. Don't even worry. We heard every single word. We're excited to hear from you. And if you'd like, please email us your information again.
I'm gonna send the email.
Address. Yep.
And I would like to say hello, Dr. Wilson and Deputy Soup. I'm not sure, I don't have it in front of me, your last name, I apologize, but I just want to say hello, and I'm going to be reaching out to you as well again. I sent you a message, Dr. Wilson, too. I'm not sure if you saw it. So thank you
so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to partner with you. I just put it in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you saw my message. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll put my message in the chat. Thank you, everyone.
You're so welcome. I'd like to remind everybody that in the chat right now is a feedback form. If you'd like to share some comments with us about ways to improve this meeting or information that you thought was helpful or any other thoughts that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to click on that link for our feedback form and share that information with us. Again, I want to remind everybody that if you have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us at our email at cec31.schools@nyc.gov. And please, by all means, please check our website at www.cec31.org. That website will give you information regarding liaisons that are on our council that are specifically designated to your schools, and they are able to partner with you in helping understand what your community concerns and issues are at your specific schools. So please don't hesitate to check out our website again for any of the information shared this evening and to find your specific liaison that is designated for your school. I'd also like just to take a moment to thank a couple people for meeting with us this evening. I have Laura Timoney, obviously, from the Borough President's Office. Laura, thank you so much for joining us. Christopher Pucciarelli from Senator Lanza's office. Ken Chen from SI Tech's co-president of the PTA. And our newly designated PEP representative for Staten Island, our previous CEC president, Aaron Bogad. Aaron, do you want to just unmute? We just want to give you a little round of applause. And again, we're sad to lose you on our council, but so happy to have you as an advocate at the table where policies are passed. We feel very lucky and fortunate. You want to say a couple words, introduce yourself.
I just wanted to thank everybody once again for everything. Getting my feet wet. I was thrown into my first PEP meeting and a couple of briefings, and I have some more briefings next week, and then a PEP meeting the week after that. So keeping busy and getting my feet wet. So I just want to thank everybody for everything. I'm going to miss everybody in the CEC, but I'll be here at as many meetings as I can.
Yeah,
Thanks again.
You're gonna be on your phone all the time, Aaron. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you at our future meetings. Thank you for all the administrative staff that joined us this evening, and again for all of our principals that joined us as well. Would any of the from Senator Lanza's office, anything you'd like to share? And Laura, any updates from the Borough President's office that you'd like to share?
You know, I always have something. So I want to thank Aaron personally. I think I might have joining the PEP, but you know what? This is the best thing to have a parent advocate on the panel for education policy. So we are thrilled. You've got great background and experience, and you're going to do us proud. So thank you. Come back in November, you'll find out who the new borough president's appointee to the CEC is, in addition to Daniela Caputo. Two things, Marion, when you have the essay contest, the writing session for the kids. I just want to remind people, and I'll email it to the CEC as well if you want to put it up, the Patriots Pen. They have the essay contest that's going on that's ending October 31st. This is from the Veterans of Foreign Wars. So they have, it's a writing essay, Voice of Democracy. First place winner, 9th through 12th grade, is $30,000. And they're having a contest for the middle school. First place winner is $5,000. So a lot of good things going on. I'll email that out again to make sure that some family, one of our kids hopefully will win that money. And you know, it's exciting too, just so everybody knows, this weekend coming up is Comic-Con. I actually saw there's some DOE panels there on civics and engagement, gamers in the classroom. So I don't know if we all know this, but some fun things going on, coffee and comics. So a lot surrounding literacy, making things fun. So all good. But thank you all for all the hard work. I know everybody wants to get out of here, so I will keep it short, and thank you again.
Thank you, Laura. That's a wonderful update. I can't believe that. Comic-Con DOE is at the Comic-Con. Who would know? Only Laura would know. Thank you, Laura. I just have a really quick thing to share from one of our CEC members. Teresa, do you want to take the floor for just a second and share your information with everybody?
Yes, I just wanted to share a quick flyer. Here it is. I'm also a member of Sir Optimist Staten Island. It's a club that just empowers young girls and women all across the world, really. But we're going to be hosting again in conjunction with the district attorney, Mike McMahon, another seminar for, it's really aimed more for high school girls, but I'll send out the information. We did have past attendees that were in middle school, and I just wanted to share a little bit about the flyer. We're finalizing the date. We're waiting for more information from him, but just for middle school, high school age girls to grow up and be strong, successful, happy adult women. It's a mentorship program where we provide professional role models, career education, and just other resources.
Thanks so much, Teresa. Dr. Wilson, you have your hand raised. You don't even have to you don't have to raise your hand. You
I'm so sorry. I know, but I don't want to.
Don't be sorry.
So I love Teresa. Perfect segue. I was trying to not say anything, but that is in alignment with what we do at MSK. So we have to talk together. Together is better.
I love that. Yeah, maybe we can have MSK also participate on that same panel.
That'd I love it. So let's do it.
I'll forward it to you.
And the person who's doing an extraordinary job for me is the one that just got the promotion. I think she's on now, Darlene. I just want to give you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening,
congratulations, Darlene. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, the family is just getting bigger and stronger. This is a space that I love to be part of. And we have some CEC council members who have participated, attended some of My Sister's Keeper spaces, and our mentors too. And so I have to say, Dr. Wilson, I actually got that flyer on Friday, and it's in my to-do to share with my leads this week. So thank you. I am so excited about the work ahead, improving instruction and providing access to students with disability on Staten Island. I will continue to be that advocate that I've been for 25 years as a special educator for all kids with an IEP and receiving services. And that's not going to stop. And then we're just going to get stronger by adding a group of young women in Staten Island that are just going to be doing amazing things on top of that. So thank you all. I love this space, and you know, I'll be back. I'll be back with updates when we have our reports next month.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Darlene. Roxanne, you also have your hand raised.
This is really quick because there's so much good news. I just want to keep spreading the positivity. I think it's worth saying we had a TEDx on Staten Island, and there were a lot of educators there representing Staten Island and talking about like the future of education. And I think that's pretty awesome.
That is beyond awesome. We're keeping that good news train rolling as we sign out of our meeting. I'm so thankful to everyone who was able to participate today. I'm so happy to see all of the people that have shared this meeting. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us at cec.schools.gov at our email address. Please check our CEC website at www.cec31.org. You'll find all of the information shared at this evening's meeting and more information about our district and how to get in contact with our CEC members. I also just wanted to say, oh goodness, I just lost my train of thought. That was so terrible. I just wanted to say thank you again to all of our council members. I look forward to working on our resolutions. We're dedicated towards creating community workshops this year with our CEC. We're working in partnership with the district, hoping to hold some family-friendly events as well. And we hope to make a real impact in our community this year. And we hope that you guys will keep attending month after month. Please take a moment and fill out our feedback form. The link is in the chat. And I will be sure to contact you. Valentina, I'm so sorry. I will contact you. Can you list me your email address so that I can get in contact with you personally? I didn't know, so I apologize. That's
Hi, I have a question if it's fine next.
I'm sorry?
I just have a question. I was wondering, after the meeting, is there going to be like an agenda or like a sheet with all the information posted or something?
It'll be on our website. So if
Okay,
you check right there, we'll have a running screen that'll list all the information that was shared, all the flyers that were shared, and where you can go to check out all the information.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Oh, thank you. You're so welcome. All right, Valentina, I will reach out to you personally. I'm so sorry. I'm going to move to have an adjournment for tonight's meeting. Does anyone have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you so much. A second for that motion?
I second it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for participating. Valentina, I will reach out to you immediately after our meeting is over. And again, to everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. Download the District 31 app and we will see you next month in person at the Borough President's Hall of Science. Look, see, it's the end of the meeting and I nailed it. Borough President's Hall of Science. I got it. All right, guys, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, district team. Thank you, Laura Timoney.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.